Greetings everyone, Nicholas here from Serbia. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about one version of Mint Linux, which is of course based on Ubuntu, but specifically why I'm going to show this. Welcome screen. Okay. Linux Mint 17.3 codename Rosa with the XFCE desktop 64-bit edition based on Ubuntu 14.04 long-term support LTS kernel, which is the version 3.19.0/32. Why I'm doing a review of this specific distro? Firstly, because I really like XFCE desktop, and I really like Ubuntu-based distros with Debian package management and stuff. I think it's really easy for users to start getting the habit of using distros like this. Distros that are based on Debian, of course. Second thing, let me see. Second thing, I really think that okay, I cannot get the preview right. Blah 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 blah. Just negative blah 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 blah. Nothing. Never mind. I wanted to switch on the GUVC video, but doesn't matter. Now, all the Ubuntu-based versions, completing last with the 14.04, supported the Radeon graphics proprietary drivers. And since they are supported until April 2019, I think I'm going to stick with this. I have a Radeon Power Color HD 6570 Go PCI Express card, which is, by the way, really fast and really nice, and I'm not planning on switching to NVIDIA. After the version 14.04 LTS, Radeon stopped supporting, developing of the proprietary drivers, and usually nowadays, if you want to run bleeding edge Linux in any distro, doesn't matter if it's Ubuntu or Debian based or Arc or whatever, you are, advised to switch to NVIDIA graphics for, being able to use completely your graphics board, since drivers for NVIDIA are still supported and still running and still developing. Nevertheless, Linux Mint, guys. Standard whisker menu for the XFCE desktop, and in the categories, favorites, recently used, all, which is covering absolutely everything you can find on your system, and now in the categories, accessories, education, graphics, internet, multimedia, office, settings, and system. We can go through each one separately, but I'm not going to take that much long. File manager standard for XFCE desktop is Thunar, but this version 1.6.10, Thunar, I think it's foremost the best file manager for Linux, and it's working really nice. Not planning to change it. The desktop environment I really like. XFCE for me is one of the most user-friendly desktops. KDE is an eye candy. It's really nice, but I still think these guys are not so stable. Some things that I usually set up like this, you're seeing my desktop right now, is Conky Manager. I really like to make my desktop look nice and have some features on it that are, monitoring my system. And these Conky plugins and stuff that's provided by the Conky Manager, they're really nice. They make the desktop look really nice, and actually you can monitor all the stuff on your system. What I like about Mint, so I'm gonna show you what these guys did that Ubuntu still didn't do. Software Sources tab, and here, usually when you update your system and when you want to switch to other software sources, what is done by default, the default sources are downloaded from the official server for Linux Mint, and they only offer the option of transferring to a local repository for a faster link, but it's not obligatory, which I really like. And in the maintenance tab, they added these couple of options like fix merge list problems, purge residual configuration, remove foreign packages, and downgrade foreign packages, which are not available, GUI or graphically in Ubuntu with one click, but you must do these through the terminal, through the command line, right? I think this is really user friendly, and for some people who never used Linux, they can find it easy, to get around with these type of options. Now let's check from the system. In the Linux Mint, you have backup tool to make a backup of your home directory, bulk rename, multiple files, disk usage analyzer, domain blocker, driver manager, which I actually used to install proprietary AMD drivers, file manager, sooner but with the root privileges, setting up your login window, networking utility, login as another user, package installer, package manager, printers, software manager, software sources, task manager, terminal emulator, time and date, update manager, upload manager, which is really nice to define your upload services, users and groups settings. In the settings tab, about me, accessibility, personally added AMD catalyst control with the root privileges, appearance, Bluetooth manager, comp is config settings manager, desktop settings, desktop sharing, disks, display, file manager, input method and keyboard settings, language settings, menu editor, MIME type editor, mouse and touchpad, network connections, customization, notifications, panel, password and keys, power manager, preferred applications such as your web browsing and burning software and blah blah blah, removable drives and media setup, screensaver, settings, sessions and startup, settings editor for the xfce desktop or the xconf editor, settings manager for the xfce4, welcome screen, window manager settings, window manager tweaks, and workspaces. In the office, by default, there was the OpenOffice packages installed. I actually personally added the VPS presentation, spreadsheets, and writer because I really like the VPS Office. And it's the version 2016, something in the late October or November, so it's not so old. And it's working really stable in a multimedia. Personally added desktop recorder, great little radio player, GUVC video viewer from your webcam, media player, but I added the SM player and I uninstalled the VLC player because I don't like the VLC player. SM player has much more options, it's much more stable and much more user friendly. Media player, I think it's Banshee by default, the media transcoder, screencast tool Kazam, which I personally added, simple screen recorder also personally added, and video converter GUI. Videos was there by default, Voco screen also personally added, and these two were there by default. And in the internet settings, I added the Qubit torrent and Deluge. I removed the transmission because I really hate that torrent client. Transmission is by far the worst torrent client I have ever encountered. By default there was the Pigeon, IRC client and Mail client, and I personally added Skype, TeamViewer and Google Chrome. So far so good. I think this one is working really stable. I updated all the latest updates, and as you see here, if you click, you see there's an option, do you want to switch to a local mirror? I didn't want to because the default mirror is still fast enough for me and I have a really good internet connection. So far no more updates, and it's running with this kernel and my processor and my 4 gigs of RAM. Really nice. If you guys have any questions about this distro or some tips and tricks, if I can forward you how you can do something or how you can set up your hardware, feel free to ask on the Google community or by an email, or ask me a question in the YouTube comments or whatever. Find me on Facebook and I will be most happy if I can help. Greetings to all the people from the Linux community. Best regards, of course, to the people from Linux Mint community. Keep up the good work, and I hope you liked the video, guys. Ciao, ciao.